Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Dan Hooker. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, UFC 267, Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker. Man, this is a big fight. I don't understand how anybody could not be a fan of both of these men. Both of them bring it, both of them show up to fight. Gotta figure that this is going to be no exception. On the one hand, you've got Islam Makhachev. This man is on a run. He is just storming through the division. Everybody who just sees him for one round of any of his fights instantly realizes just how beastie of a wrestler this guy is. I mean, if I told you that he was a international master of Sambo, you'd say, oh, probably a pretty good grappler. Then if I told you that he was a very accomplished grappler out of Dagestan, you say, oh man, they got some beastie guys over there. The wrestlers that they turn out from over there are something else. Those are world-class guys. So if he's coming out of there, he probably knows what he's doing. He's probably a pretty good wrestler. But then there's another level. Then if I told you this man was basically brothers with Khabib, he was trained by Khabib's father. I mean, now we're at the absolute tippy top of the grappling world, of the wrestling sphere. This man, that's where he's been. That's how good he is. That's his pedigree. Now he's training over at AKA. Obviously, Khabib is still in his corner. But the grappling that he brings to the table, he's got a nuance and a style that you don't see from a lot of people. He doesn't come in and do a lot of traditional power doubles or a lot of single legs that you may see in like collegiate wrestling over here that a lot of guys that are over in America may typically deal with. He does a lot of his work out of the clinch. And he does a lot of trips. He's so slick with these trips that he does from in the clinch. One of the ones that I loved was when he fought Drew Dober. Now, this wasn't exactly from the clinch, but it's the first takedown that he used in the fight. Drew Dober is a nasty striker. He has got some very good striking. I think he's highly underrated when it comes to the striking. Just a matter of time, he could put it all together, and all of a sudden, he could go on a run. But Islam Makhachev comes out. He's timing the distance. He's paying attention to the timing. He's attempting to get the distance. He reaches down and grabs a single leg, picks it up, gets close, and then goes into a trip and takes him down. He does it so smooth, so effortlessly against the guy who's as accomplished as Drew Dober. Obviously, we see what happened. He comes out here in his last fight against Thiago Moises. Ends up getting the submission in that one. But what I liked about that fight was the striking. You would think, coming from the background that he came from, striking would always have been a weak point. And clearly it is. I mean, it's hard not to be considered a weak point when you've got the type of wrestling that he does. But it's something that he's always worked on. It's something that he's been progressing with. But what you saw in these last two fights as far as his striking was concerned. Again, we talk about that. I talk about that fight with Drew Dober. Now, did he go out there and outstrike him? No, not at all. And if it would have been a kickboxing match, I would have had to favor Drew Dober. He probably would have came out with the victory. But it was the fact that he was able to handle everything that Drew Dober brought to the table. If Dober's if striking is that good, Islam was able to handle it. He wasn't able to outclass him. He wasn't able to go out there and land a bunch of strikes on him. He was able to handle everything that Drew Dober brought, and he was also able to take the fight where he wanted to take it to, which was the grappling, got him on the ground. Ended up getting the victory. Then you look at this fight with Thiago Moises. Now, again, did he do all this crazy amount of damage striking? No. But look at the shots that he threw. Those punches were crisp. They were tight. I loved, almost as soon as the fight started, he throws out this calf kick. Kicks you right in the calf. It wasn't that it did a bunch of damage, but it was that it was very good technique. He didn't telegraph it. He didn't overcommit. He didn't overextend on it. He just flicked it out there, made real nice contact, real nice hit. All his punches he was punching in combination. His punches were a lot of. Islam Makhachev is making big strides, man. This guy was already feared. He was already being avoided by a lot of people in the division. You got Dan Hooker out there in the pre-fight having to say things like, hey, he's not indestructible. He puts on his pants just like me. How many guys do you have to say that about? Hey, he's not indestructible. That automatically lets you know what kind of level he's at and how people think about him. And then you got Dan Hooker over here. Now, I don't understand how you can't like this guy. Takes this fight on short notice after just fighting, 35 days ago? Now, he doesn't have the best record necessarily. For instance, lost 2 of his last 3 fights. Okay. Lost to Chandler. He caught him cold, man. That was early. He just got caught with a shot by a guy who can punch. I'm kind of going to write that one off. I mean, it happened, but it's not going to speak to his overall fighting game. But look at that fight with Dustin Poirier. Man. Now, the first round of that fight with Dustin Poirier, that's exactly how Dan Hooker likes to fight. Every time you look in a fight and you see Dan Hooker and putting his will, enforcing his will on the opponent, he's being aggressive, he's coming forward, he's walking him down. As a long fighter, man, that makes it tough. He's working behind the jab. He's working behind that low kick. That calf kick that he's got is nasty. Look at what he did to Paul Felder's calf. Early in the first round, started tearing it up. Look at what he was doing to Dustin Poirier's calf. Early, tearing it up. He's got a nasty calf kick. And he throws it out there and he uses it like a jab. He goes to it all the time. He's long. He doesn't overcommit. He can do that and just very easily get out of harm's way. Still back up out of a lot of counter strikes. Look at all the times Felder was trying to get off on him. Look at all the times Poirier early was trying to get off on him when he was trying to throw counters off of that. Dan Hooker is a master of timing, distance, accuracy with his strikes. Once he gets that jab and that calf kick going, he's able to start mixing in other stuff. He's got a real nice combination where he goes with a straight right hand to the body and then comes up top with a left hook. He works all of those things really well. He's been working a lot on his defensive wrestling to avoid getting taken down, which I get. That's not really his game. That's not what he wants to do. Just like backing up. Can he fight backing up? Sure. He can fight a little bit backing up. He's got a nice left hook that he throws. But ultimately, that's not what he wants. He doesn't want to fight in close. He doesn't want to do work inside the clinch. He doesn't want to fight backing up. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to come forward. Now, he can't fight backing up. If you want to be aggressive with him, he's got some beautiful knees. And because of his length, he can bring them all the way up to guys' heads in angles and in spaces that they don't expect when you're in tight, almost fully standing up. He's good. Dan Hooker is a very good fighter. Now, that being said about both men, the question ultimately is, what's it going to look like when these two match up? Look, Dan Hooker's got weaknesses. For all he does, for everything that he's good at, he's got weaknesses. And I think his weakness is most obvious. We saw it against Paul Felder, and we saw it even more against Dustin Poirier. It's how Dustin Poirier won the fight, and it's pressure. You get inside on Dan Hooker, you try to back him up, you get inside on him, you back him up against the cage, you get him in the clinch. That's where he's weakest. Not like he's weak there, not like he can't do good work. He absolutely can. He knows how to circle off. He knows how to throw knees. He does great body work inside the clinch. Man, there were times he looked like he hurt Poirier up against the cage with the body work that he did. But that's where your best chance is. Your best chance is not going to be fighting him at distance. There's not too many people who are going to be able to hang with Dan Hooker at 155 pounds fighting him at distance. When he's out there, he's long. He can get his rhythm going. He understands that distance. He's got great accuracy, mixing up his shots. It's not where you want to be. Look at what Dustin Poirier did, the difference between the first round and the second round in their fight. He decided, man, I'm coming forward. I'm biting down on my mouthpiece. I'm going to be aggressive. And he came forward and he started landing hard shots. That's what Islam Makhachev has to do. That's what he wants to do anyways. What's going to happen when he comes forward? What's going to happen when he gets to the clinch? He's going to get to the clinch on Dan Hooker. Everybody does. Everybody gets to the clinch on him. You're not going to be able to run around for an entire 3 rounds. And I guarantee you're not going to back him up. Dan Hooker's not going to come out there, be aggressive, put Islam Makhachev on his back foot, keep him circling around the cage, kind of guessing what to do, getting pieced up with jabs and calf kicks. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. He's going to back you up. And if you don't, he's just going to get to the clinch and take you down. That's what he wants to do, which is going to force Dan Hooker to try to bounce in and out, circle, move around, avoid the cage, putting his back up against the cage at all costs and try to keep it in the middle. But he isn't going to be able to do that the entire time. And even if he could, Makhachev, even when he gets in the clinch, he's got such good trips. I just see it going there. And once it gets, does Dan Hooker have good takedown defense? I'm sure. training over there at City Kickboxing. They specifically drilled a lot. People talk all the time about the takedown defense that they've got. Yeah, they're good at it. But is it good enough to keep Islam Makhachev from taking you down? I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. So I'm taking Makhachev for the win on this one. Think he comes out with the victory. Is there going to be some spots where Dan Hooker looks good? Absolutely. Absolutely, there's going to be some spots where he looks good. But I think this is going to be another name on Makhachev's resume. I think we're going to talk about his improvement as a striker and the way that he was able to handle what Dan Hooker brought to the table. And of course, like always, we're going to be impressed with the grappling that he brings and how he makes it look so easy. How he takes world-class athletes, takes them down, holds them down, beats them up, possibly gets the submission on him. The man's good. So let me know what you guys think. You agree with me on this one? Is this going to be Islam time? He's coming home with another victory dominantly? Or is Dan Hooker going to upset the apple cart here, pull off 2 victories in a span of like 35 days after taking this one on short notice? Let me know what you guys think.